Hey everyone, this is the N870 podcast. This is Gary Finn. I'm glad you are listening today for this episode of the N870 podcast. I think we are 31 or 32 episodes in, so we're super psyched. This is kind of our busy season, so we're kind of like podcast here, podcast there. So thanks for sticking around, kind of bearing with us. Once we kind of get clear, probably sometime into the spring, we should be like pretty consistent with the podcast. It's a busy season for us. For us Finns, we have gymnastics, we have soccer, so we are kind of, we are all in on that. So, but I do want to kind of get a few show announcements out of the way. There is a show today, and this recording is February 21st. So by the time you hear this, these shows probably will be past for the most part. So tomorrow night is February 22nd. There'll be a show at the Moose Lodge with Weeping Gate, Power Tool Ninja, Dawn of Ascension, and Orphan Crippler. It's brought to you by Arkansas Underground Entertainment. Mr. Chase Coleman reigning this beautiful show. The debut show, I believe, for his new endeavor. So we're really stoked about him. More shows, more venues means great times for our scene. It means a thriving scene. So we're glad to see it happening. Also, so what else is going on? Tonight there's a show down at Something Skateboards. It's kind of a looks like to me like it's the Storyline, and it's who is this Delta Inc. Crawl? Anyway, I'm just gonna say Delta Inc. Crawl is a band. That's what I'm going to say. The Storyline, Matt, Lewis Dixon, and Idiot Wife. So make sure you're down there. It's at Something Skateboards, so make sure you go check it out. Should be a good time. So forgive me if Delta Inc.'s a band and I messed it up. So there was a show on February 28th, also at Something Skateboards. Looks like a nice little hardcore show. Brought to you by Something Skateboards and N870 Booking. There's going to be our Marzinko's down there, Three Blood, Entrenched, and a band with an amazing graffiti for their logo that I apologize that I can't read, but it's Indiana Hardcore. You should go check it out. So yeah, absolutely. Also, there's also a show happening at the Moose Lodge on March 15th. That's going to be with our boys and Spring Hollow and Grandma's Chandelier. Shout out to those dudes. Also some other bands. You should go check it out. It looks like they're out of town bands. Great. Awesome. Love it. $10. You should go check it out. Also, there's a show on March 8th. Man, there's so many shows. This is the Crash Out EP release for the Delirium Effect. We're cordially welcoming out of town friends Keep and X Thread X. I'm the Catalyst in Spring Hollow. That'll be at Something Skateboards. You should come hang out. It's $10. Should be a good time. And also, March 22nd. If you can get down to Conway, there's a band. They're called Spring Hollow, and they're playing at Full Moon Records with Crows and Coach Light and it's somebody else. I apologize if you have a logo for a band and I don't know what it is because it's not you, it's me. So that's all. I think that's all I have right now. Shameless shout out. I'm the Catalyst as a single that should be out really, really, hopefully by the time you hear this podcast. So we're really kind of excited about that. So without any further ado, let's get into it. So me and this gentleman, we go way back to the day, which, a lot of people I have on here, they're, good friends from back in the day. So I'm not really sure how we met, but we did meet, and that's all that matters. He is a very busy guy. You can usually see him posting amazing photographs and videos of local bands that come through, and very talented, good-looking dude, Mr. Nathan Eades. What's up, buddy?
What an intro, my man.
I'm trying to work on those. Yeah, man. Because you do so much.
Dude, it's great to be here. And I think I can actually touch on when we met at a local show. I'm pretty sure it's somewhere like the Powerhouse or Reynolds Park or somewhere like that, like way back in the day whenever like those were the places to play around here. Those were the two places that we had to play, unless it was like somebody's basement.
Did you ever go to any ghost town shows?
Actually, one or two. I went to one or two. I think back when the Jonesboro noise scene. Do you remember like when we kind of had like a noise group movement of like bands that literally just went in? There was no real like. There were maybe some cohesive songs that they wrote, but when they played live, it was mostly just nonsense. There was like a Babaku. There was the Parsons Brown Project. It was basically the Jones Boogie movement.
Dude,
it started out at the Edge, and then it moved on to this house over on. It's near JHS in Jonesboro. It's like literally less than a mile from my house. Yes, and that basement of that house got destroyed. So whenever I saw new people move in, I'm like, you have no idea what happened there. You don't know the stories in those walls. But it was.
It must be some amazing horror movie.
Yeah, exactly.
These walls could speak.
They would scream for days in a language not heard in 1,000 years. But
Jones Boogie movement. Who coined that one?
It was It started off with a group headed by John Middleton.
Okay.
It was very much like like I said, a sort of avant-garde sort of deal. A lot of it was very. It's really hard to describe it because like it was just kind of like a noise movement. Actually, one of the best examples that I have of one of the bands that actually like made a huge impact. They maybe played like a few times, like a handful of times. They were like an eldritch beast that was just summoned. And it was a group called Guitar Throb Arkansas.
What?
Yes. There were two drummers, Rayleigh Rogers and Curtis Farley.
Oh, Curtis.
Yep, old Curtis. And then there were like, I think 3 guitar players and maybe 1 or 2 bass players. It was basically 2 bands merged into one. And it started off, it's like there was something cohesive at first, but after about a minute and a half, 2 minutes, it just devolved into pure sonic chaos. And it was absolutely amazing. I seriously wish that I was like doing what I do now back then.
Man.
Because if I had video of that, it would be so amazing.
There's no video out there, is there?
No, I honestly don't think so. No. Like that's the crazy part about that movement is also because that was back before digital recording was really a thing. We were still dealing with analog. It was just the medium was getting smaller and smaller and smaller until eventually it moved on to straight up digital SD cards. But
so what was that band name?
Guitar Throb Arkansas.
Guitar Throb Arkansas.
Ask Curtis Farley. He'll fill you in because like he was one of the drummers in that band, and he'll like eventually, like I said, it started off cohesive. Everybody was standing up. Amps were, in their positions.
I tried to get Curtis for this weekend. Everything I know he's busy, but hopefully soon. So we got to get that story on the.
Oh, dude, definitely. You definitely have to have this man on your podcast.
What would it kind of like resemble? Like
that's the weird thing. I can't really describe it.
There's nothing.
There's nothing I can really compare it to. But like I said, it started off, pretty cohesive and everything, and then after about a couple of minutes, guitar amps were on the ground. Like guitarists were on top of the drum set. It was absolutely beautiful.
Oh man, dude. Yeah, I don't have anything. Man, I don't have any. That's crazy. And we don't talk about the Edge much. Did that band played at the Edge?
No. I think they were too chaotic for the Edge. They were a little bit too chaotic for the Edge. But I'm sure. The Edge was definitely one of the times. Like that place was a gem. It was an absolute gem when Paul ran it because you could play a show there and he didn't care. We could hang out there all night if we wanted to. He was like, "Hey, you're safe here,
dude."
It's like this is a safe place for you to be,
dude. That's crazy. I've been to one. I think I went to one show. No, I went to more than one. I think there was a couple I went to at the Edge and everything. I think I saw a show there. Like I can't remember even who I saw. It was downstairs. Then I remember like going maybe. Oh God, dude! I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years ago. Maybe saw like there was like some electronica set or something upstairs. Like a buddy of mine was playing. Yeah. So that was like,
yeah. It was definitely one of those places that that was good for this town.
Yeah,
it was,
hung around for a
great
while.
for this town, and it was crazy how it is, because after I think Paul moved on to greener pastures, I guess. Eventually, Brian and Sarah Nobles took it over, and that was like one of their first like big entrepreneurial endeavors. of like actually getting into local business. They bought the Edge, they ran that for a little while, and then there was this whole ordeal with Cade Holiday, like of him. There was a whole bunch of like embezzlement from him.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, there was a lot of controversial crap that happened around that time, and they got screwed over out of it. But like, I'm not trying to tell their story too much.
Yeah,
but basically,
gotcha,
they moved on from the Edge, and then they started Porch 30. They started the whole Huntington Square thing. And now that's kind of blown up into something. And now they own Recovery Room. And so it's like they've gone from one thing to the next, and just constantly growing. And the crazy part is like that Porch 30 thing, it's still going. Like they kind of like helped get that concept going, and it's still going.
So for people who don't know, what is that?
Porch 30 is basically it's an outdoor sort of eating establishment and everything like that. It's indoor, outdoor. Food, like a food truck gets set up there, very likely. It's a bar.
Okay.
And there's an inside part as well. That's Huntington Square, where it's kind of like it's real simple, just like bar tables, maybe a couple of pool tables. You could play live music there, here and there. It's right next to another establishment called the Lounge, and I'm pretty sure it's owned by the same person now. And the Lounge is legitimately a lounge where like it's a bar, but we can be in there speaking at this volume and be able to hear each other perfectly because it's
That's
a
rad.
lounge. It's great. I love the place, and it's done up really nicely. But Porch 30 is kind of like just an indoor-outdoor eating establishment bar kind of deal.
So they do like bands show up
Every now and then,
every now and again.
Every now and then.
Okay.
Like, I'm pretty sure it's going to be mostly like acoustic stuff, like Nathan
like
Crouch.
acoustic type stuff.
Yeah.
I think back it was like oh my gosh, dude, this past July, we were we were trying to get Power Play. They had a show that July 1st, and we were scrambling. I was trying to figure out where in the world, and I was like, I actually emailed them.
Right.
The Huntington, is it Huntington Square?
Yeah.
And
it's Huntington Square.
Emailed them, and I called, emailed, finally heard back, and they're like, they want to know information about the groups and the bands and stuff. So I'm like, geez Louise, So I was like, I've seen pictures, I saw the website and everything, and I go, whatever, dude. I go, we're desperate, man. We need a spot. So so I emailed her. I was like, and sent links to the to the bands. I never heard back. So I'm like, but everything worked out. Obviously, at Cregan's. Rest in peace, right? Cregan's.
Oh man, don't even get me started on that.
So
it breaks my heart.
So I was snooping around your page, and I saw the photographs, Cregan's and stuff. Like February 11th was their last night.
It was the very last night they had was I think it was the 8th.
February 8th.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure because it was the week before the Tiny Town show, which was the 15th at this point.
Gotcha.
And yeah, their last day was Saturday the 8th at like midnight or something like that. But like I talked to the former manager now, and she was talking about how she was even kind of blown away whenever she walked in initially, and there was nothing there. Like the place had been cleared out. They hadn't been taking orders or anything like that, like actually like truck orders to get more liquor in or anything like that. And they hadn't been.
Oh yeah.
Like basically they were it was in their last days, but she wanted at least one more shift, and that was like I don't know, like a lot of people. I don't know how many people know about this, but I'm trying to get to a sort of a tribute documentary together about the place because it served a huge role,
big part
in the downtown community.
Yeah.
Like it was one of the things that helped catalyze, for lack of a better word, the creative and musical revolution that we're seeing now, because like it breathed new life into it. Because I know you've seen this. I know you've seen this with our scene. We have this problem where it goes through massive ebbs and flows, where it's like it goes through a massive wave where there's a lot of creative energy and people are wanting to get back into it and everything. And then we start losing venues, and we start, people start losing interest again, and it just crashes back down. And then it goes back up again, and it happens every few years. This has been the biggest wave we have seen in a very long time, and it needs to keep going.
Yeah.
And Cregan's helped kept that going, and they helped get bands together and everything. Like, a lot of bands played their first show there. Like Spring Hollow, they played a lot of shows there. And like you were talking about how many shows they hang up. Can we just give a huge shout out to Spring Hollow real quick? Because they are grinding. They are constantly trying to play shows almost anywhere they can have them.
Yeah, dude.
Awesome.
Absolutely, man. I can't. They're good dudes and gals, and they grind. They
absolutely.
Creatively, they're fantastic. And they're wanting to play a ton of shows and get their name out there, and they're obviously amazing at what they do and talented, very very talented, and everything. So I'm like, man. I can't say enough good about them. I agree. I'm glad they kind of sprung up, no pun intended, but I agree with you. I think there's kind of there is if you kind of look at things, there is an ebb and flow with the scene and everything. I would like to see more bands. I would like to see more bands in the scene and everything. Going back to what you said about Cregan's, it was, they came through at a really good time.
Prime
helped jumpstart everything. I know REC was playing a lot of shows there.
Yep. Sleuthfoot
was playing a lot of shows there. So shout out to all those dudes, and they're still rocking. And they're still doing stuff, and they're still grinding. And I want to see more of them, obviously. But they really came through on that July 1st show. That summer last year was really when I think they really came through for sure.
Especially the EP release party for Delirium Effect that you guys played.
Yeah, it was great.
It was great, except that, oh my God, I'm surprised my camera kept running, because this thing has an internal temperature thing where it's if it gets too warm, it'll just shut off. I'm surprised it didn't trip, because it was hot at that show.
It was very hot.
It was stupid hot at that show, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, is the air conditioning on?" And Christy was like, "Yes, it is. It's running.
It was always on.
It was always on, but it just couldn't keep up. It's an old building. It couldn't keep up. You just got to deal with it, man. You just got to roll with it."
And I hope it kind of really, man. So shout out to Cregan's, and I know
rest in peace.
I complained about the the 3-story hike to the stage.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But all in all, I got to say that because you never know what's that there's a quote in the office that Andy says, it's something about I wish I knew I was in the good old days or whatever, because sometimes I think the very things you do complain about, when you reminisce, are the very things you miss.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? It's those things you remember. Oh my God, it's hot.
It's
oh my God, this I got this half stack 3 flights of stairs up. All those things.
But you're gonna go back and watch those videos of that EP release show and see the energy and see the passion of everyone there, and the fact that everyone stuck around even though it was sweltering hot up there. They didn't care. Their friends were playing. They were there to support their friends, and they were there to show love, and they did. That was possibly, I think I actually talked to that show and the last emo night, I think were the 2 busiest shows that Cregan's had in a long time. Especially at least within the last few months. The last emo night was packed. It was insane how many people were there, dude. It was absolutely
I forgot
amazing.
about that. So, shout out Daryl Sykes. Emo Night. That was a good run. Was it 7 years or something?
Yep, 7 years. They started in 2017, and they kind of kept it, they did it periodically throughout the year, but Black Friday was always the staple tradition night where they had it. And Daryl Sykes was always the man running it.
Yeah, dude.
And this last one, it was a packed house. It was almost like it was St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, beautiful.
Which,
beautiful.
Man, that's what sucks, is they're closed and St. Patrick's Day is coming up. Where am I going to go? That's the other thing about Cregan's. It's it was, I don't get out much. I really don't. I'm not a very social person. You'll see me at shows, and then it's immediately after that show, I'm like, all right, I want to go home now. And
right.
the Cregan's,
Yeah.
the energy of that place and how welcoming it was, like, I would just be like, you know what? I just want to go to Cregan's and get a beer or two. Then just hang out for a little while.
So what are Irish? What are us Irishmen gonna do
On St.
on
Patrick's
St.
Day?
Patty's? We're gonna have to figure out something for sure.
Well, yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, man. So yeah, because those sort of things. Yeah, those are the things you're going to miss, and those are the things you're going to remember. And I agree. One thing I appreciate about you is like, there's like these things we notice historically, and we really kind of need to kind of like remember that, so we can kind of plan for the future and present day. That's what I'm saying. If people listen to this, I don't know how many people listen to this, but like, I think a good amount. But you need to like start a band. I mean, and just like I think people are just so. I think you should be creative and be creative.
Absolutely.
Don't try to be anybody else but yourself. Who cares if you're? It's punk and hardcore.
Don't take it too seriously.
Don't take it too seriously. No one's really crazy.
It'll be fine.
Who cares about like how much talent you have or whatever? Mm-hmm. There's a lot of talented folks,
right?
And I've seen, but the most memorable bands, I mean, I can remember were just like, I don't know, man. It's a lot more than it's a lot more than talent. It's punk rock and hardcore. It's way beyond that. It's way about sending a message and everything. But
passion,
passion. That's the pure energy. So don't get all worried about that. Put out a demo. Who cares how good it is? Just put it out. Because I think once you make that first step, if you're like writing your first song or putting your first demo. Because if you don't start, you won't start.
Exactly.
So start somewhere.
You got to start somewhere, man.
Or whatever art form you're doing. So let's talk about you.
Okay. I'm ready. Let's go.
So what's up with all this, all this photography and all this videography? Where did that come from?
Okay. It's kind of. I guess the best way for me to describe it was like whenever I was in high school and, college and everything, I wanted to be a rock star. I wanted to be a musician. But my parents were always like, they were trying to be realistic. It's like, you need a backup plan. I'm like, all right, cool. And at first it started off like, with more of a passion for audio production, because they were like, you have a decent voice for radio. Have you ever considered that? It's like, I could, screw it. I could do that. And then I started I also played around a lot with cameras whenever I was in like high school and college and everything.
Gotcha.
And, nothing really serious, just playing around. I never really pieced anything together. I never edited any of the stuff together. We just like recorded on little hi-8 tapes and played them back and laughed about it. And that was pretty much it, and like on a little Sony Handycam back in the day. And that evolved, and whenever I actually started to take courses for it, because I went to college, I went to Arkansas State for audio and video production,
right?
Which is where that backup plan came in. So I started studying at Arkansas State, worked at KAIT and everything, and then
that's what I thought.
Yep, I started at KAIT back in about like 2007, 2008.
Okay.
And worked there for about 10 years. Eventually got laid off because of corporate nonsense. But right as I was like towards getting laid off, I started working for Street Outlaws. So,
okay.
Like basically just, I've always felt natural with a camera in my hands is what I'm getting at. Is that
sure.
Like anytime I'm around a camera, I feel more comfortable. And eventually, like it didn't really start like becoming my art form, like where I really just started diving in again until like the last few years, especially on the photography side. The videography side, because I went on a tangent here for a second.
Oh no, you're good. You're good, man.
But the videography side started around like high school, college, and everything like that, when I was just playing around and everything with my friends.
Okay.
And then whenever I started to learn how to actually like piece things together, I'm like, okay, I could actually see this as something that I want to do, something I want to do like regularly, and potentially like to make money off of. So I just started like watching movies and everything. And that's the other thing. I was a movie guy, and I would see how these camera operators are able to get the angles and the shots and the compositions that they were able to get. I'm like, how do you do that? How do you actually like construct this? Like, I want to learn how to do this. So that's kind of where that all took off, was just from a combination of playing around in high school, my love for movies, and just needing a feasible backup plan. And this is actually this is one of the most fun ways to make a living. It's just, you're going out and you're just capturing really cool images, and it's really awesome to actually see people's reaction to what you create for them and everything like that. So it's basically it's just love at this point. It's just this is a part of me. I almost feel like, hang on. I mean, I brought it with me. It's literally right here next to me because I wanted to see about potentially getting some shots while I was here.
Oh yeah, for real.
I still have it built. I have not taken the lens off of it from the last time. And yeah, I just feel comfortable with this guy in my hands. I just do. It's natural to me at this point.
It's your instrument, dude.
Exactly. But yeah, as far as an art form is concerned, actually wanted to pursue it as an art form and getting really, really back into it again. It started about a couple of years ago.
Okay.
And you said I've been around doing live shows and everything like that, and I remember College Fest.
Yeah.
I was there. That was one of the first times.
I wasn't there, but I do remember it.
That was one of the first times that I actually shot a live show, and it was so much fun. I loved it. But once that, like I said, the live scene started to ebb down again, and everything was kind of die off, I was just well, what am I going to shoot? Because that was the one thing that I really knew how to shoot was live music. So I was what am I going to shoot now? I just kind of lost my motivation at that point. And then after a while, and I started to work with Street Outlaws and everything like that, and I saw other people who were passionate about getting their art form
So what is Street Outlaws?
Okay, yeah, let's touch on that. Street Outlaws, for those who are unfamiliar, is a reality TV show that aired on the Discovery Channel. Oddly enough,
beautiful,
right? It's Discovery Channel quickly became just the reality TV network after a while. There's the only thing you're going to discover is brain rot. I know that
sounded familiar, man.
But it was started by, or it aired on Discovery Channel, and it was by the same company that did Orange County Chopper. Actually, same production company. Yep.
Nice.
And that was actually their first big show, was Orange County Chopper. And
dude, that's nuts.
It was wild. And basically what it's about is it's about quote unquote illegal street racing, illegal drag racing, and everything. And but it's got, after a while it became these guys have what they call no prep cars, where it's just they produce so much horsepower that they need a prepped surface where their tires can actually stick in order to have traction. Otherwise they're just spinning tires like crazy. Because I actually talked to one of the guys, and I was hey man, how much did I cannot remember what his car's name was, but it was a yellow Trans Am Firebird, sort of one of the W36, or it was a 2003 2004 model-ish, I think.
Right.
And canary yellow, just yellow as can be. But this thing was so loud it shook your soul. But it was so awesome. And I asked him, hey man, how much you putting down in that thing? He was it was about 4,000. 4,000 horsepower.
Nuts.
That's okay, for a frame of reference, my Mustang out there, 2006 Mustang GT, out of the factory in 2005, 2006, it made 380 horsepower. So you're talking 10 times that.
Whoa.
Yes. So, but yeah. But anyway, landed that Street Outlaws gig. I worked as a PA for them, what's called a crew PA, which is a very nuanced term of basically being three roles in one. You're the PA, which means you just take care of your crew.
Okay.
You're attached to a camera crew, and you take care of them. You got your camera operators, you got your audio operator, and you got your producer. You basically just take care of them throughout the night.
Oh,
because,
dude.
when I first started, it was on race nights, which is literally that. We reported to the hotel to get everything checked in, get our walkies and everything like that, and then we went to the race road, which, it's a closed section of road. We have police there, which is why I put illegal in air quotes. Because we have police there for security so that people don't wander on set. And we had we had lights all the way down the road and everything like that. It was a very, very, very set up. I mean, you could see this if you ever watch the show. You can see the lights in the show. It's like that road does not have that much light. If people know this road, they know that it does not have that much light. So,
dude,
but
that is so interesting, man. That is so interesting.
It was an interesting gig, and there like a lot of people ask, it's like, well, is it scripted? It's like, well, to a point. There are some things that are kind of scripted, yes, but you got to think about it. Whenever they leave that start line,
yeah,
it's all real.
Oh yeah,
like
yeah.
you cannot fake a multi-thousand horsepower car going 660 feet. There's not much you can fake there, and man, like you see some pretty gnarly stuff on that show.
Were there any crashes or anything?
Oh yeah.
Oh, for real,
yeah.
For real.
Oh yeah, I think I saw at least 5.
Dang,
6,
dude.
Like there were some that will stick with me for the rest of my life.
Dude, holy cow!
Like I'll tell the story about one or two, because these are the two least gruesome. For one, there was only one really, 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 really gruesome one, and but as far as I know, dude lived. He just arm got really messed up, but as far as I know, he's okay. He's alive.
I got you.
Like
I got
He's
you.
okay. That's what matters. But the two that really that will always stick with me was there was this one we were doing when we were on the No Prep Kings tour, which is where we go to drag strips across the country, and we basically have like tournaments throughout those drag strips, and at the very, very end, someone is deemed the winner of that whole tournament.
Okay.
And we were doing sort of like an offside thing for the Memphis Street Outlaws group, right?
Okay.
Because originally it started off with OKC, then it went to New Orleans, and then it went to Memphis. And Memphis is where I jumped on, because I knew nothing about the show until I worked it.
Okay.
So I jumped on with the Memphis crew, and we were doing sort of like an offshoot thing for the guy who's the star of that show.
Okay.
He's called an arm drop race. It's basically, it's open to the public. They can come watch and everything like that. And it's, again, kind of a tournament style. And we kind of, with a lot of these races, what we do, especially the race nights that the production crew is actually in charge of, we have a safety guy who goes around and texts and checks every single car to make sure they have a Hans device, to make sure they have proper restraints, to make sure they have a roll cage, basically to make sure the car is safe.
Sure.
So this was since this one wasn't directly under our umbrella, or their umbrella rather, we weren't able to do as thorough of a safety check as we would have wanted.
Oh boy.
So there was one incident with that guy with his arm. That was because he had like standard glass in his car. He didn't have like that plexiglass safety glass that is like,
oh mercy.
Yeah. So, but there was this one car. There was this one race that was like still during the day, and these two cars lined up. I forget what kind it was, but one of them, as they got about like quarter of the way down the line, it started to break loose. Like it hit something in the road and it started to break loose, and it just started careening towards what's called our RoboCam setup. It's the finish line setup, which is where we have a ladder with a Sony FS7, I think, or something like that. It's basically like an FS700 for a slow-mo cam. For like whenever the race is really, really close, they want to be able to look at that footage and see who is actually the winner. And it just careened toward that setup. And it took out the RoboCam, it took out the arms, it took out the ladder. I just see it break loose, and I see it go towards it, and I just see this cloud of like debris. And you like literally a half second later, you hear,
oh,
I was like,
wow.
This is going to take a while, because every time a car crashes, it's at least 2 hours. At least 2 hours for us to get everything cleaned up, because the other thing we got to do is like, is after the wreck is clear, we clear the road and make sure there's no debris, dust, anything, fluids, anything on the road.
Did a camera survive?
No. There have been so many cameras that have been destroyed on that show. That's why it's like a lot of camera crews these days, they use like really, really like high-end cameras, especially like for like reality TV shows.
Yeah.
Like the ones that are just like a camera that's like set up over here, and it would be like just a shot of them on the couch, like people on the couch over here to my right.
Yeah.
That's like, they're using the really high-end cameras for that. For Street Outlaws, they were using cameras that were like 16 years old because of that. Because it's very prone for these cameras to just be completely destroyed by a car. Very likely.
No doubt.
So it's really expensive to replace those. And like the amount of GoPros they went through, dude, it is nuts how many GoPros have been lost to that show.
Wow, man. Yo,
GoPro made a lot of money off of Street Outlaws.
So how long did you do that show for?
I did that show for I started in 2017, and the last time I worked with them was in Nebraska in 2020, right during COVID. Wow. That was an interesting period. It was during COVID.
Oh, dang.
Because we had to work. It was very, very, very strict. And one of the things that they figured out is like after COVID shut everything down for a little while.
Yeah.
They were kind of trying to figure out how are we going to do this, because as COVID shut everything down, they realized, well, we still have like a previous season that we need what are called pickup interviews for.
Yeah.
Which is literally where they go to like the host's, the star's house, or wherever, and they set up an interview set and they do pickup interviews where he just basically talks about, what happens in a particular episode or for a particular race.
Sure.
And whenever we found out that, it's like we still got to get this footage, they were like, all right, how would you do this? They figured out that they could do it in a skeleton crew, right? 5-6 people. And everyone get tested for COVID, like well beforehand, send the results in.
Right. And
if you're negative, you're clear. So it was I think it was myself, camera operator, because I was the crew PA and the AC essentially for that. AC is just another term for assistant camera.
Gotcha.
And you had our producer, our mixer, and the showrunner. So yeah, there was maybe like 5 people.
I gotcha.
And we sanitized everything regularly. We did regular temperature checks. Like every time we came to set, everybody got a temperature check. We all wore masks. We all did social distancing.
So it was very, very, very...
Very strict.
Very strict.
Very strict. And that was like before we even went out to Wyoming and Nebraska, when we had like 25, 30 people on a crew. And that was even more strict. We had like an actual medical checkpoint before we got to the race road.
Dude.
And everybody got their temperature checked. And once, if they noticed any irregularities, they were like, we're going to watch you. It's like, we're gonna make sure that you're okay first. We're going to let you cool down for a second and then check your temperature again.
So like there's somebody like a Discovery, are they overlooking all this, or is this basically the production company doing all that?
I'm pretty sure it was a lot of it was the production company overlooking a lot of that, because
I got you.
You got to think about it. Discovery is just basically the network that it's on.
Yeah.
They dictate certain things, but when it comes to the actual execution of the production, a lot of that's on the actual production
company and stuff.
So yeah, that was an interesting gig.
So, well, dude, that's really interesting, because not a lot of people can kind of that's a unique experience that a lot of people have no clue anything about. And you get the kind of I don't know anybody who's who's worked on a reality show in a major network and to travel and do all these things, which is a really an amazing thing. It should be pretty. I like it because it's kind of a peek into the world that you have no clue about. It's super interesting too. Like you said, just picking up the camera and kind of because I remember I remember being in high school and really enjoying doing audio and video edits and stuff, just kind of just for creativity's sake. So there's definitely a creative gene within you and everything. So I don't know, and how it kind of morphed into kind of now
now it's
the last few years. Yeah, it's just kind of what you do.
Me.
And it used to be I think one of the most, to kind of segue a little bit, I've always found it super interesting, even back when in the early days, back in the 90s, when I would go to shows, there would be these kids. Well, I'll say kids, but they're like these teenagers with like some amazing cameras, and they were on the side of the stage, and like a stage, and the pits underneath them, and they're just they're capturing some amazing images of like all these these hardcore bands. And I always thought when they put these zines together and everything, they catch is like there's some amazing images. So it's almost kind of like it was kind of part of it. Like there's like this other art form that if it wasn't for as DIY as could be, but if it wasn't for those people and everything, we wouldn't have like these images that us kids growing up would definitely like. We'd idolize these bands. Like there's that picture of this front man or maybe HR from Bad Brains or whatever. It's like it's something. It's like this image that captures. So I don't know what was it the music that kind of brought you into it, or just like
a little bit? Yeah, a lot of it was the music and just like that feeling of needing to belong somewhere for one.
Yeah.
You know how that is.
Oh yeah, for real.
And I found that the music scene was, one of the most welcoming environments I think I had ever experienced.
Right on.
Because like, everybody has love there. Everybody pretty much just like they're gonna show love if you show love.
Yeah, yeah.
And like it's just an appreciation for the art, really. So a lot of it was the music, and a lot of it was just friends, and supporting my friends. And then I just sort of like put the two together whenever I started actually like getting into like having a camera that I could actually like use to shoot shows with and everything like that. I just kind of started coming together.
I got you, but I remember like when we first met, you kind of came across to me. Cause I want to kind of get into like how you came, like how you and like I don't know the. Underground music kind of like intersected, like. But when I first met you, I go, "Oh, Nathan, man, he's." My first impression was Nathan's a punk rock kid.
Right.
He's a punk rock kid. Was that right?
Essentially, yeah. You were. I was.
Because like you were my like.
I totally was.
Yeah, I gotta go. That's like he's like my punk rock representative. I really feel like. That's what he kind of came across as. Like
I was totally into like I was really 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 big into punk back when I was in high school and college, man. Right. And we like if you want to, we can sort of like touch on this sort of musical evolution.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But because I noticed that sort of one of the motifs about your show usually is that like especially if you don't know them that well, you want to dive into their musical history and see how things evolved. Curious. Okay, so here's one for you. The first ever quote-unquote punk band that I ever really got into was in high school, introduced me by my friend Adam Argo. Do you know that name?
Yeah, I do.
We went to church together for a little while whenever I used to go to church.
Adam Argo.
Great dude. I hope he's doing okay. I haven't heard from him in like decades.
Man.
But he introduced me to a band called Dogwood.
Yo, Dogwood, man, what's up?
Yes, dude.
Yo,
I was
so
huge
good.
into them. Fall of Belinda and Ivan was like one of my favorite tracks for a long time.
Man.
Great band.
Dude.
And from there, it evolved into, the pop punk scene because, we mentioned how, I used to play guitar and everything like that. Yeah. And I started in like 2002, 2003 is when I really started playing electric guitar and started teaching myself.
Sweet.
A lot of it was Dogwood, a lot of it was Newfound Glory, Offspring, NoFX, and that's kind of how it evolved. It went from Newfound Glory, Blink-182 bands, MXPX to and Nora's over there like Newfound Glory, baby.
Yeah, Nora's got the Newfound Glory shirt on. Awesome.
And it went from there to NoFX and Rancid.
Yo.
And then like I'm trying to pick it just like the Aus Rotten, like it literally like it just exponentially evolved. Like whenever it moved past pop punk and just evolved, and now it went from Aus Rotten and Behind Enemy Lines, which are essentially the same band. Just like it was the lead singer and a couple of other guys when Aus Rotten broke up. Which, if you're not familiar with Aus Rotten, they were one of the angriest political punk bands you could ever hear. They were so amazing. And they started Behind Enemy Lines. Global Cannibal, which was like out around the time that Bush was president, Bush Jr., Old W. Talk about
I'm thankful. I'll tell you what. When W got into office, I go. All right, now all the good punk bands are about to come out.
Oh, dude, it was a prime time for punk music, man. It was beautiful, but
so 2002, 2003.
Is when I started like playing guitar and everything like that. And from the from I Was Running Behind Enemy Lines, I shifted more towards metal, and that's when I started getting into bands like Cannibal Corpse and. There for a while, I was kind of even into like black metal.
Sick.
Like this might touch a nerve with you, but I was into bands like Gorgoroth and Behemoth and Dark Funeral and everything like that, like the satanic black metal bands and everything.
Sick.
And now it's kind of like in this weird vein of like I don't have you ever heard of the movement called it's not really a movement or a genre or anything, it's just a word. It's Thall. THALL.
No.
Okay. There are like a handful of bands that actually kind of like tick this box. It's really interesting. Vildhjarta is one. A lot of them are from Scandinavia, like Sweden and everything. There's Vildhjarta. There's Humanity's Last Breath, which they have been in my heavy rotation for a long time.
Oh, sweet.
Humanity's Last Breath.
I always like new music.
Mirar, Mirar.
Okay.
They're also really good.
Okay.
Let me think. Throne, even though they're not really Thall, they're more beat down, but it's oddly enough, it's the same guitarist that is in Humanity's Last Breath and the drummer Phil Vildhjarta. This one dude, Buster Odeholm, kind of is like the Thall godfather. Him and awesome. Kalle Thormer of Stuart Near, they're both kind of like the godfathers of Thall, which, I kind of find it funny that you're wearing your Godfather shirt today.
Yeah,
too.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's evolved from like punk to metal to now this sort of like interesting genre that is Thall, and it has a very particular sound to it. But there's a lot of baritone guitars. There's a lot of
gotcha.
a lot of pitch shifting, a lot of discordant tones. Like Buster Odeholm, when he plays for Humanity's Last Breath, he has a very, very weird drop E tuning that's very, very funky. But it creates it's easier for him to create dissonant tones and everything like that and dissonant chords.
Gotcha. I understand.
And it's basically just makes it more efficient for him to play. And it's absolutely amazing. Like, I highly recommend getting just sort of doing a deep dive on Buster Odeholm and his guitar tone, because that's what I aspire to.
I could tell, because you got there's some passion in your eyes when you're talking about this.
Oh man!
Is it from? Are they coming from it's like Sweden, Norway, Finland area, or is this they're kind of blossoming up everywhere?
The Thall movement is mostly concentrated it started in Sweden and everything. But there are people around the world who want to start Thall projects and everything. I would love to start a project here and have our first single be called Arkenthal.
I see what you did there.
And
awesome.
I would love to start, like you were talking, let's start a band. I seriously want to get back into it, man. I just need a really good baritone guitar so I can get some crushingly low tones, because that's what I want. I really love those crushingly low tones, man.
I like digging into stuff that's kind of outside my wheelhouse. A dude from I'm not really I'm very selective about black metal, because some stuff I'm just I really can't get into it. And I really like when it's good. I don't know. Everybody's different, right? So for me, it's I can't even name any, because maybe I don't know, what's it called, Ackley's or whatever, a black metal band, or I don't know, and Sunken is another one, but old Emperor or whatever,
or Immortal
and everything. So I'm kind of I'm not familiar with those bands, but it's few and far between. I'm more likely to kind of that there was this big poster and throw a dart at it. I mean, if I'm probably not, if I threw a dart at this whole conglomerate of black metal bands, I'm probably gonna hit one I'm not gonna like. So it's very few, because it's one of those things to where I think what I really kind of aspire to is I listen to a lot of bands that definitely are influenced by like some of that black metal bands. So that's probably me. I'm probably listening to bands who were influenced by black metal bands.
Very likely, yeah.
So it's like, but when it's done well, though, it's done well. Like who is it? Like who's that band? Like I'll tell you, who's a really good band. They're not black metal, but like they are really good. There's that French band. Man, no one knows about this band. There's a band called Celeste from France or whatever.
Yeah, I can't say that I know that name.
They're
either.
like super good. They're definitely not black metal, but they're like. But I don't know, man. I gotta have some. I was listening to somebody lately though. I feel like maybe a month ago. It was a black metal project. Oh, who was that? Hold on a second. I'm gonna look it up.
Right. Well, you gotta be real careful when it comes to black metal, man, because it's one of those genres of metal, which is another reason I love metal so much, is because it has like blossomed into like so many different subgenres that you can't even pin them all down.
Just like everything else,
but black metal in particular is one you got to be real careful with, because like you start getting into like the NSBM, which is nationalist social, literally Nazi black metal. It's like, yeah, let's not.
Oh yeah, because
we're gonna keep you guys over there.
It's definitely out there.
We're just gonna like ignore you guys. We'll just stay over there.
I kind of hit the main ones. Who is it by? Who is the band?
But you were talking about Immortal, man. Abath is just hilarious. He is like one of the best black metal frontmen ever, just because he is so funny. He does not take himself too seriously at all.
No. Ackley's is the band I listen to.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're pretty good. I mean, I like them. So don't see me. It's mainstream probably black metal, but like I like it. They released a new one called I don't know. The one I listened to was like a Melanoe,
right.
Melinoe. It's really cool. It's got a sick cover to it. Anyway, black metal. So you kind of evolved from this to punk rock into metal.
Yeah.
And then kind of like the black metal, then kind of into this stall.
Yeah.
Everything. So. So we're gonna do a top 5 at the end. So we're gonna give me some your top 5 favorite. Like we can go like what's the last 5 things you listen to, or what's like what 5 records are in your rotation.
I think I can come up with something for that. It may be a slight modification to it, because like my time, like a lot of people listen to music all the time. There are some times where I need to be in a particular mood for certain music, sometimes like for me, I just want to listen to a podcast, and I'll get stuck on that podcast for weeks.
There's so much to consume, dude.
There's too much.
Kind of like that. And to be quite honest, like I listen to most of my music either I'm like on the way to work, at work, and on the way back from work. But I haven't worked like in a couple of weeks, because like I had a whole funeral thing and everything. So like,
which my heart goes out to you, brother.
Oh man, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
I told everybody it's been really good. I mean, since
you're holding up a lot better than I did whenever I lost mine. So like, props to you, man. You got a good support network here, and you got your faith, man.
Dude.
You're gonna be fine.
Yeah, man. It happens. It's like I know there's gonna be times where I'm like gonna be like caught off guard. Like I was cleaning out the garage. I was cleaning out the closet the other day, and I was going because like I was trying to play some Spotify. I'm going to put on some Radiohead. I'm going to listen to it and clean up my closet. And I was going through. I had too much storage on my phone, so I was going through old audio, and I found like some voicemails. Right. I'm like, you got me, Mom. You got me, Mom.
Yeah. I think I still have a few old voicemails from mine that I haven't deleted yet. So I'm just like, even if it was just her, like just for a couple of seconds, it was like, I'm not deleting this.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because like that's one thing that you always want to remember.
For real.
The sound of their voice.
Absolutely.
You always want to try to remember the sound of their voice. But yeah, man.
I'm thankful for that. I couldn't. Everybody you definitely were just blowing up my phone, and a lot of other people too. And I definitely appreciated people having the because sometimes you don't know what to do in those times, and I get it. But just like everybody, you reaching out, just saying, hey, are you okay? Is everything going okay? Those things mean more than what. And I mean, live in a day and age where you absolutely can just like send a message and be like, I'm here if you need anything. I don't know how many messages I got or phone calls I got. And so thank you.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Okay. All right, we're going to segue out of the funeral stuff.
Yeah.
We'll make a strange right turn. Okay. All right, so... And listen to music, man. Music will help you cope.
It will.
It will. Okay, so wow, I think we definitely. So I definitely want to come. I think it'd be a tragedy if we didn't talk about kind of where you kind of came in. I don't know if we talked about this before or. I'm way loud, dude. Hold on a second.
It's all good.
What did that? Check 1 2 1 2.
There you go.
Gary.
I got you.
That was crazy loud. I'm so sorry.
I'm just trying to find the sweet spot for me because I keep hearing like the room. Either that or just how my voice projects. I don't know.
I thought you were on channel 2. I'm on channel 2. So I'm like, oh, homie.
Oh,
okay.
no. It's all good.
So far as like venues.
Yes.
So you said you went to 2 or 3 ghost town shows?
I did go to a couple of ghost town shows back in the day.
Okay.
And one of them was like that's when I got on that whole noise project tangent. One of them was one of those noise project bands. I think it was like Babaku or something like that, or Parsons Brown. I forget who it was, but it was just pure chaos, and it was awesome. I love it. Man. And I forget what the other one was like, but I didn't go to a lot of them. I don't even remember if it was the show that the AKAs played, because I remember they came to play.
Did you go to the AKA show?
I don't remember. It's been so long ago that I don't remember.
That's a great band.
Yes, they were amazing.
Oh my gosh,
they were amazing.
Great band. Great. We need to go listen to that. That's great.
Yep. And then let's see. And then a lot of it was just like house shows and everything like that. And then there was the whole there was that annex, sort of like that the First United Methodist annex, where they had the College Fest and everything.
Yeah.
And then after that, it was just kind of like it died out for a little while. Something off?
No, sorry, making sure I'm. Hey Nora. Hey, come here a second.
We need some assistance.
I need some assistance over here, man.
What we got going on here? Let me see if I can.
I got low battery on the laptop.
Oh, no.
Can you make sure that thing is like plugged in, like from the laptop to the extension cord? It's plugged in there, but where's it plugged in to the other one?
Let's see. Is there actually?
Maybe I'm plugged into the wrong spot, dude.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I'm just gonna like hold my mic as I inspect here. Am I gonna have to provide some technical assistance?
Is it here?
Oh, let me look at this.
Yo.
Is it charging?
Amazing assistant Nora.
Now we're good.
There we go.
I'm good.
Good on you, Nora.
Look at you. Oh, nope. No, we're not. No, we're not.
But
No.
Uh-oh.
No, now we are. Now we're good. Okay, don't mess with it.
Don't touch it. Don't even breathe on it.
Oh, Mars.
But yeah,
what I
anyway,
was
venues.
Yeah,
we were kind of going over like the venues, I guess. But it was that annex for a while where they had College Fest and everything like that. And then after that, that's when the scene just like completely. Actually, nope. My memory is picking back up again. My brain is still waking up today, man.
That's okay.
Like I told you in my message I sent earlier about I was up late last night working on some search engine optimization stuff for my job. But anyway, it was that annex for a little while, the First United Methodist annex, and then there were still some house shows, like Eric Boyles from Tallahassee. You know, he would have shows out at his place. And back when he lived out in like the boonies past Gibson Switch,
wow.
You know, he was literally out in the middle of a field. It was the perfect prime location for a house show because no one said anything, because there was no one close enough to hear it. And if they did hear it, they're like, they'll shut up eventually, and they just went to bed. It was some old people that were just like, they'll shut up sometime.
I guess I didn't know about the Eric Boyles shows.
Man, that was an interesting time, because that's when, let's see, because I'm pretty sure, because Tallahassee played a show there. I'm pretty sure one of Ron Harris's projects, Captain Overboard or something like that, may have played a show there.
Yeah,
I forget. But yeah, there was some really good shows out there. And I miss those days. I miss the days of just like going to somebody's house and it just being like pure chaos.
Love it.
And like there being a bonfire outside.
Love
it's
it.
like you could have a show out here, you can have a bonfire outside. It's just like people are hanging out. But after that,
Love it.
They rented out a storage facility, like a sort of a mini storage facility out out near the county line. You know where that Exxon is, that Jordan's, out near Poinsett County?
Sure.
Directly across from that, there's just like this massive storage units and everything like that. And there was one in the very, very, very back that was part of like, you know, essentially a garage.
I had no idea.
Yeah. that did not last very long. That was one of those that was like, they had a lot of passion behind it. People wanted to make it something and everything like that. They wanted to actually like try to invest in it. Like they wanted to make it a regular thing in an actual venue, but no one, like, this was when everybody was like in their early 20s and no one could come up with like a cohesive enough plan for everyone to come together and actually run it. That was the problem. A lot of it was logistics. Like the logistics just killed it. But it was, for when it was alive, when it was there, it was great. There was passion behind it. There was energy behind it. And you had some great shows. And then eventually after that, that's when the scene just kind of crashed for a while.
What year was that?
That was... I'm getting old, man. My memory's not as good as it used to be. It was, I would say, at least 2012, 2013, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I went to Memphis, and I went to West Memphis in late 2012 to late 2013. That's when I was in West Memphis, yeah, so...
Like, I'm pretty... Yeah, actually, that sounds about right. It was around at least 2012, 2013, because... Yeah, actually, I'm lining up other events that happened in that time, and it's like, okay, yeah, this happened around that time, this happened around that time. So yeah, it was around like 2013.
That's crazy.
And yeah, then that kind of died for a while, and then Cregan started hosting metal shows, and then people started playing in Cregan's, and then the Metal Mayhem Fest out of nowhere started happening at Brick House, and that picked up. And because you notice that a lot of the momentum that we have gained has only been within the last year or two. Like as far as like really big momentum where bands are consistently wanting to get out and play shows and they're wanting to get things going again, it's been within the last couple of years. But like it's increased within the last 6 to 8 months. But it really started back up again, I'd say about right after COVID. It was right after COVID is when everything started
everybody's
really
wanting to get out.
up.
I mean, even nationally, I mean, you saw bands, and they couldn't wait. I mean, even from those...
I could be wrong. Someone correct me out there if I am. I'm happy to be corrected.
No, I mean, I think you're dead on. I think it was a thing kind of nationally. I remember like watching like some like Instagram videos of like some of these SoCal bands like from Santa Cruz and stuff doing those they're doing those outside shows, like setting couches on fire and just like having a show and behind that
sounds like my kind of scene
or something. Yeah, it was great because people just could not wait to get out because I mean the show was shut down, right? I mean it was it was crazy. So people are really itching to find an excuse to kind of like. And no matter what, just to
release all that energy,
just to get out and do it and everything. And I think as soon as like, I don't know, it didn't take much. I think the scene overall, I think even nationally was like, I think they kind of threw themselves out there and they kind of like took chances. Like, listen, we're good, man, we're good. Let's go for it. And I think that's really important. We kind of like take that initiative and kind of make our own minds up on that. And like. But yeah, because like I think we played our first show last May. That was it was Little Rock, but still, yeah, we were kind of like we were waiting to. So yeah, because REC, I think if I remember right, like REC was playing it like when I was checking things out. I think they were playing like Cregan's. Like they were playing a lot of like Cregan shows. And everything. They've been always really consistent and really busy. I'm trying to think of anybody else. Like the Storyline was one of the ones. Too, if I really think about it, like because like it's like Eleanor was saying earlier, because we got this drum set in our living room, and my kid was playing drums. My teenager was playing drums for her sister's band. They played one show, but they played at a show at the Reynolds Park, and the Storyline played, and that was like, well, shoot, no, that was we weren't doing anything then. But I think we were. So that probably when it was like August of 2023. So the Storyline was really, if you remember during that time, they were really, the Storyline was bumping, dude. I check out their Spotify. They were just like cruising, dude. They're doing so good. Now they're back. They're doing things. They got a show coming up. Like, was it tonight, tomorrow, whatever?
I believe so, yeah. Tonight at something skateboards with old Matt Dixon from Tiny Towns, which actually I should actually touch on this real quick, was that, you know, when I talk about, you know, like the momentum, you know, that the scene has been seeing, like we're talking specifically here about the heavy scene, the underground heavy music scene with like metal, hardcore, stuff like that. Now, for those who are unfamiliar with it, like for a little bit we saw more of a bar, I guess you could call it bar funk sort of music movement that for a little bit whenever Cregan's was like in its earlier days, especially like 2016, 2017 and everything like that, from the Funk Donors, Flatland Funk Donors with Brian Nobles and them.
Right.
And then you had Tiny Towns, which they, like, every time they played Cregan's, packed out. Every single time. It'll be all right.
Right.
And, excuse me. But every time Tiny Towns played, packed house. Every single time. Every time Flatland Funk Donors played, packed house. So that was kind of like what the heavy music scene needed, because they saw that there was a place to play. They saw that there was people that actually wanted to come out and actually
Right.
like, come to the shows and everything.
Right.
And then COVID, whenever that shut everything down, that just made everybody get everybody just had this pent up energy and everything.
Right.
So it's like whenever we were able to play
Right.
shows again, that's when things just started exploding back into life, and it's been awesome.
It's been awesome. I think definitely pent up like creativity and
Yes.
everything, and you got a lot of time to think and everything else, and I know for us, we're like, we just gotta do something,
Right.
You know, and because you got to find eventually there is like that. Like I said earlier, it's just kind of just getting out there. It's like, hey, let's just have a practice. Let's see what happens. But we know
Right.
just making that initial decision. But yeah, it's good. Like I said, I'm glad that Cregan's was there. I really think, to be quite honest, I was like, oh my God, dude, I don't want to do I want to like have an all ages show. I don't want to hike up my stuff 3 stories. And,
Right.
and it was so disheartening because like we're trying to be quite honest, like at first trying to reach out to like these venues, nobody's responding, and even Cregan's wasn't responding. But then you find the right person to contact.
Yep.
Christy was that person. So
Yep.
shout out Christy.
Shout out to Christy. She kept that place from burning down so
Yeah.
many freaking times. She did not get the respect and props she deserved from the owners. I tell you, straight up, she deserved so much more respect from the owners than
just those little things that really kind of breathe life into
Yep.
people. Because sometimes, even now, it's like it can be like as a band or whatever venue you're trying to get into, it's tough. And sometimes it comes from like and your way in is usually something you wouldn't predict. So we're kind of so we're definitely thankful for Christy and kind of giving us a chance and letting us throw beach balls and confetti everywhere. So she was
that was such a great show, man. I was actually been going through that footage again, and it was like
good times.
It was a lot of good times, and yeah, there's that place has a story to be told, and it needs to be told.
Yeah,
but
dude.
and
now we're multiplying.
Yeah,
now we got like
we got something.
We got multiple venues and multiple promoters, and
and that's like shout out to Chase. Oh, actually, that show tonight you were talking, not tonight, but tomorrow night, the 22nd.
Yeah, dude.
Apparently that got moved to Recovery Room.
Oh yeah, that's right. Right.
But
thank
again,
you for that.
It's all good. But again, like in the future, like when this drops, that will be in the past and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm definitely shout out to Chase Coleman for keeping this going and everything like that, and to Evan Holcomb and Yusuf and all of those people who are wanting to keep this scene alive.
We need more promoters.
Absolutely, man.
We need more venues.
Really do. And
more bands,
more photographers. We need more photographers, man. Like I used to have this weird jaded perspective, almost like a selfish perspective. Whenever I first started getting into photography, I saw it all as competition. No, it is absolutely not. It is a community.
You're in the wrong place. You think this is a competition.
Exactly. So like that's what I'm so glad that I have abandoned that line of thought. I'm so glad that I'm just like, you know what? It's creative community, man, because I love seeing Evan out there getting his shots, and he is an absolute artist. Like he is amazing at what he does, especially for as young as he is. It's just all uphill for him. It's so dope.
Dude, and you got to celebrate those things for real, man, because like you gotta like there's only like one you, and the only competition
Exactly.
there really should be is being within yourself.
Exactly.
You know, what can you produce? You know,
Exactly. And each of us, like, you know, there's me, there's Evan Holcomb, there's Billy Storms. We all have our own
dude.
unique styles. Like,
bro, I know.
Evan has his own style, Billy has his
Yeah,
own style,
dude.
and I have mine. And each of them, you know, like, that's just
Dude.
how we shoot. And the fact that we can have so many different unique styles, like Evan's is very intense. It's he uses his flash and everything like that to just fill in the faces so you can get the natural skin tone, but using everything else, just like it's very, very popish and intense, sort of like from the zines and the live music photography that you used to see. You know, I like pulling. I don't have a flash for one. That's one reason why I haven't gotten that kind of look, is because I don't run a flash.
Right.
I like pulling details out of the darkness. Like, I like to be able to get a shot that is like underexposed to where it's like there's this whole section of the crowd that you don't see, and by the time I'm done editing it, you can see every last person in that crowd.
Rad.
And it doesn't like detract from the actual subject of the image. And then Billy Storms, his is kind of similar to mine, but it's a lot more high saturation, very intense contrast, and like a lot of like sharp contrast between light and dark and everything like
bro.
that. And he has a very particular eye, because he'll be able to, like, you know, he's one of those people that can be walking around and he sees this like little tiny like flower down on the ground.
Yeah.
And he manages to get down there and get the sun just perfectly composed behind it to where it like lets the light pop through the petals
Yep.
and everything like that. He has a hunter's eye, I guess you could see it, because he was just looking around for angles, and then he sees it and he's just like,
got it.
and that's what I love about, you know, seeing these people come out and shoot, because again, we each have our own unique approach to it, and we work together. Like, I don't know if you weren't at the show on the 15th, were you? No, you weren't. You
No.
weren't. At one point, I tend to stick to one area. I don't move around a whole lot. And at one point, Evan was trying to get some shots around me, and I literally just patted him on the shoulder, dropped down to where he could get above me. And I was like, dude, we'll work in the same space. Let's go, homie. Let's go. Let's both work here. We're a team at this point, which that's another thing. I would love to actually have like a team of creatives and a team of photographers, like come sort of collaborate on one big, my headphone came out, but on one big project and everything like that. You know, I would love to see something like that.
Well, it's because of you guys that we can see what we can see, and we have, you know what I'm saying? I mean, without you, there is no visual, you know, because like, I remember, dude, I mean, I just remember, like you say, like in analog days, I remember like, I remember like we were 17, we were kind of going to shows. Of course, we have like these mini, these mini cam recorders or whatever, camcorders, and or we're like videoing these shows in Syracuse, and how I, when I moved down to when I moved back down to Arkansas, I remember being at the house, and I was really homesick for, like, you know, my scene up north, and I remember just popping in that VHS and just watching the show from that, you know, and watching that footage, and how that if I didn't have that, you know, that would have been devastated to me. You know what I'm saying? And I don't have that. I wish I still had that video, but it's just like, man, how it just kind of immortalizes it, like why you fell in love with everything. It's like you got to show all over again.
Which actually reminds me, it's because, like, again, like I had a memory spark just now. Like, one of the things that really got me into the live music end of photography and videography was, you remember when bands would like put out tour DVDs and everything like that? Like NoFX's, I think.
Oh yeah,
like
Darkest
they had
Hour and all those guys. Yeah, Kill Switch. Yeah.
The Casualties. Like, I was really big into the Casualties, and they had one that I wish, I don't know if I still have it. I really hope that I do, because I would definitely go back and watch that. They played in Japan and in Mexico City, and it was specifically about those two like runs that they did, one in Mexico and one in Japan. And they went to Mexico City, and there were a bunch of punks who were pissed that the Casualties were playing, because they considered the Casualties as sellouts, even though they're the furthest thing from that. It's like, they are street punk to its core.
Oh, bro.
I mean, come on. And they were like a
Bro.
bunch of people who were pissed off about it. They tried to like set fire to the venue and everything. They had to cancel the show that night. And then they played another show the next day to sort of make up for it. And they had one of the guys who was actually the head of that whole protest. They called him up on stage and were like, so how are we sellouts? Like, explain to us exactly like what your belief is here. They actually gave him a platform to talk. It's like, hey, man, just like, what's up? What's the problem?
Yeah.
And it's like, but you're loved here, man. We love you. We have no problem with you. You know, this is all about love. And
Dude.
like those band DVDs are what really got me into it, because kept thinking, it's like, man, that would be so much fun.
Oh, yeah.
To follow a band on a tour and document the whole process, even though it would probably be grueling because you're experiencing the same thing the band is. You're not
Absolutely,
getting
yeah.
any luxury treatment. You're grinding just like they are.
Yeah.
So it's
the same.
it's going to be, but I'm down. I am down to try that one of these days, even though I'm 40.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
down to try that.
Age ain't no thing.
Ain't no thing.
Ain't no thing. You're in good shape. You're
Thank you.
healthy. You seem like you're healthy and in good shape.
I'm all right.
You're
I'm a sentient potato, but I appreciate it. I'm full of starch, but
That's okay.
but yeah, no. I've tried to be healthy and
That's good, man.
stay in good shape.
We
over
got
the
to
last
stay.
several
We
years.
got to stick around. We got to stick around for a
Absolutely,
while.
man.
We got a long time.
We do.
Make more art and everything else. The best is just ahead, bro. Okay, I'm
We've been
curious.
going.
We got. I think
Yeah, I was about to say, how long have we been going for? Because we've been going, brother.
we've been going for I don't know, at least a couple of days. We've been going for.
It's been 84 years.
Oh no! You want to like let's do some like top 5 in our rotation. Like what's
Okay.
yeah? Let's do that. So we'll kind of like let me think here. Yeah, so we'll look at the last. We can go either route. We can go like either like what's the
What I was thinking is I was gonna just like find the 5 that are just like staples for me. That if like
Do it.
if I hear it, I will stem that song over and over.
okay. We'll do it. We'll do that, and I'll try to I don't know. I'll figure out something. My end,
Or ones that are like really big for me, like pivotal. I guess we can do that.
do those the pivotals.
Yes.
Okay, well, you're gonna do pivotals, and I think I'm just gonna do. I don't know. Maybe I can do pivotals too. Maybe I'll surf your
We'll
same
run
way.
with it, man.
I'll
figure it out.
I'll surf your
We'll
same
figure it
wave. So we'll do a top 5 on the fly.
All right.
So there, so we kind of set the parameters.
Mm-hmm.
I will do. So I want to make sure you have the last pick.
Okay.
Okay. So 5, 4. Yeah, 5, 4. Okay. So you'll go first, right?
All right.
So you have the last one if you go first. Is that right?
We'll figure it out.
Okay.
We'll
All
go
right.
with it, man.
All right,
Let's think here.
All right. I'll let you kick it off with your number 5.
All right.
Five
I might have to.
pivotals. And you can
The
cheat.
5
You can get on your
pivotals.
phone. You can get on your
5
phone.
pivotals. Let me think here.
I'm just gonna I'll try to go off the dome.
Right. Like I can't go off the dome because there are too many. I'm one of those people that is just there are too many for me to actually like pick just 1 to 5. That's why I'm just like, oh, how am I going to approach this?
It's gonna be it's gonna be tough.
Okay, so pivotal for me, I guess.
Are these albums or these songs?
Bands. They're
These are
going to
bands.
be bands, potentially a song from a band. But it's going to kind of touch in either one because like there are some that were more than just one song. They were part of a movement kind of deal.
Right on.
So I guess, and in no particular order.
No particular.
No particular order.
Okay.
Because I'm random like that.
Okay.
We were touching on it earlier. Behind Enemy Lines.
Okay, awesome.
Global Cannibal.
Behind
It came
Enemy
out
Lines.
right at about the time that Bush was president, and we were like deep into the Iraq War and everything like
Right
that. And there was a lot of anger around that time
Okay.
because a lot of people believe that we were just out to pretty much just take and take and take as a nation.
Oh yeah.
And they absolutely encapsulated that into a song, and it is heavy, it is angry, and I love it.
What song is it?
Global Cannibal.
Global Cannibal is the,
Yep.
the song.
And the band is Behind Enemy Lines.
Okay. Awesome.
They were essentially the remnants of the Philadelphia street punk, crust punk band Aus Rotten.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And
Beautiful.
like I said, Ausraten was, extremely angry and political. I mean, they had a whole
Yep.
song called, crap, I can't remember the name of it. But it's about Tuesday, May 18th, 1993. It's about basically the ethnic cleansing that happened in Bosnia during the Bosnian War.
Oh, man, I got you.
Heavy stuff, man. But yeah, number 5, Behind Enemy Lines, Global Cannibal.
Pivotal band.
Yep.
So what year was that?
That was around, I think, since that was around the Bush era, that could have been around 2004 to 2005.
Somewhere in there.
I'm pretty sure I can look it up on my phone.
Early 2000s for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that's good. That's pivotal. Okay.
How about you?
I think you say pivotal. I mean, I think a pivotal band for me, for sure, would have been. I think the Fugazi record, Steady Died of Nothing, was like my first introduction to. Well, maybe was it? I don't know. Like there was like a few Fugazi record there because I got into Fugazi about 91, whatever. I don't know, 91, and so I think there were some records out by then already. There was like the 13 songs, and then there was like Repeater.
Yeah,
was out, and then like Steady Died of Nothing. So I mean those 3 for sure. So I can't really say for sure like which one in particular. I'm just going to stick to I don't know, that record Steady Died of Nothing is so good. But I think if you listen to anything from like 13 songs to Steady Died of Nothing to Repeater, I think you're just going to find something you really, really like and everything. Okay. So it's hard to really kind of pick out what song, but they definitely were very pivotal. I can't imagine my life without having listened to Fugazi. That'd be tragic.
Right.
Yeah, dude.
Let me think.
That's me. So you're number 4, man.
Number 4.
Number 4.
This is where it starts getting interesting.
Yeah, dude.
Let me think here. Because I'm trying to like also sort of pick one from like sort of each genre that I'm kind of into here. So because like that's the thing, is like, our music taste isn't just, punk, hardcore, metal. It is a kaleidoscope. It is a full spectrum of stuff.
It is.
And let me think here. Okay, I gotta say, Linoleum by NoFX.
Whoa, look at you.
I love that song, man. And also, like, for me personally, it was pivotal because it was one of the first fast punk songs I ever learned how to play on guitar. It is really simple to learn. It's maybe like 4 or 5 chords.
How inspiring is that?
And it was, but it's just that first like burst of that first chord where El Jefe is just going on burst and everything like it is so tricky to get down just right. And whenever I nailed it, it was like, yes, yes, I did it. And then not to mention the last time Wildlife, Daryl Sykes' project, the last time they ever played Cregan's, they closed with Linoleum, and Daryl Sykes let me belt out the vocals on it.
Oh, how about that, bro?
Daryl, I will never forget that moment, man. That will always live rent-free in my heart and in my mind forever.
Look at you, man. That's awesome.
Linoleum by NoFX, number 4.
Yo, that's great, man. Oh, dude. Number 4. Hey, I will.
Okay.
I will. I'll bounce a punk rock band right back at you since you mentioned them. I think a really pivotal album for me was my introduction to what year? I mean, I got introduced to everything in 91. So 91
91 was a good year for punk and hardcore.
Bad Religion's Against the Grain record is like it's like my top 10 favorite records. Nice. So there's not a bad song, and that whole entire thing. I can't find like if anybody could find, I hope somebody just messages me. They need to message me. If somebody could find, I'm kind of really biased to Against the Grain record. If you could find a better Bad Religion record, let me know. Right. Because I just think maybe it's just like where it caught me when I was 17 and going, holy cow, I've never heard anything so good in my entire life. So
that's how a lot of those bands were for me, like NoFX, Linoleum. When I first heard that, I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. It's like whenever you first start to play guitar and you discover drop D or drop C and you're like, oh.
I was like, oh, I didn't know you could do that.
Right.
Is that, you can do that?
Awesome. I have all new horizons now.
All right.
All right.
What you got for your 3?
Number 3.
And we're flying through these.
We are, but I'm really trying to actually like focus on these last 3 because like even though they're in no particular order, I still want them to be.
You take your time.
Still want them to be good.
You take your
time. Let me think here.
You're okay. That's totally all right.
Tide by Humanity's Last Breath. That came out right at about 2000, like right around 2019, 2020. It was off their, I can't remember what album that was off of.
Okay.
I think it was, let me look here because I know I got them in my Spotify. They are pretty much constantly. In fact, I'm pretty sure I was in like the top 0.01% of their listeners. Yes. Whenever Velde came out, like I was in like their top listeners. And let me see here. Let me just scroll down here. Here we go. Bam. Let's see. That was... Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was on the... Yep, that was on the Velde album, which came out in 2021.
Wow.
Actually. And the reason is because, like, I don't know, that song struck such a heavy chord with me whenever I heard it because of the way it's composed, the way the guitar tone is, and just the way the whole song is constructed, right? It struck such a heavy resonant chord with me during that time.
Right.
Because the single came out, I think, around 2020, whenever COVID was happening. And, like, let's not lie. COVID was such a scary freaking time. There were a lot of people who thinking that society was about to collapse. Like, let's not mince words here. There were a lot of people who actually thought that.
Oh, yeah.
And
there were a lot of scared people.
Like that, for some reason, that time and that song fit so perfectly. For some reason, it resonated with me, and I love that song. I absolutely love it. But yeah, number 3 is Tide by Humanity's Last Breath.
You were a super fan, or still a super fan?
Still a super fan. Buster, he'll never hear this, but if anyone ever manages to find a way to get it into Buster Odaholm's ears, send me your signature Hoppus Ashen guitar, man. I need that baritone in my life. Let's go. So what's your number 3, Gary? Let's go.
Number 3.
Send it.
Number 3, man, I'd just be doing absolute injustice if I didn't mention, nobody knows these bands. Anyway, so like, to get the magic of the internet, I guess. But again, going back to, man, I'm not moving past the early 90s at all. So, but I picked up this demo. I went to a show in Syracuse. I went to a really big show there, and this band wasn't playing, but the table was selling, which I really loved. I wish more bands would do this. Like, anyway, like the band, the table I bought this demo from was not playing. They were not playing at all. So, but anyway, I bought it regardless. So I can't remember what merch table it was, but the band I picked up was a demo tape by a band called Undertow from Seattle. If you don't know Undertow, they're like a really significant northwest band. I'm pretty sure they were straight edge band, but they weren't like, they didn't like do the whole, but they were all straight edge. But they have a really heavy, crushing early 90s, probably the heaviest thing I had heard before the Integrity record. The Integrity record that hold on a second, that came out in what was that record called? I gotta look it up. Anyway, Undertow was fronted by a guy named John Pettibone, which he's still putting out music, and I think he may still run a venue up there, but he was in that metal band called Himza. If you don't know Himza is like a metal core band.
It's familiar.
Yeah, and
it's familiar.
And so he is still putting out music. Not under Undertow, but like another band which I'll try to mention. But no, yeah. So that demo was like the heaviest thing I had heard before. Those Who Fear Tomorrow by Integrity, which Integrity is a really good. If you want a perfect, that's probably the first. I think that one's really fused hardcore and metal, like truly, and kind of give it that really evil, sinister type vibe.
Yeah.
And so, but Yeah, man. So yeah, number 3 is going to be Undertow.
Okay.
And if I can try to find it, I'll try to also find like what current band John Pettibone is doing. But yeah, super pivotal. Like I remember just listening to that thing. It's always something I revisit.
Right.
Always, man. So, but yeah, what do you got?
Okay,
What do you
so
got? Is this your 2?
Yeah, this is my number 2.
You're against the wall, bro.
And this is where I really, because I'm gonna like, this is where things start to get interesting and start to get really like tight for me, and I might have to. One may have to be considered an honorable mention at this point because I'm.
It's allowed.
These
It's allowed.
three.
It's allowed.
Cool. I gotta say. Okay, now this is gonna be an album. This one's gonna be an album.
Okay.
From
Down.
High on Fire. Death is This Communion.
You listen to High on Fire?
I love High on Fire. Matt Pike is a guitar god, in
so
my
good,
opinion.
dude.
He
so
is
good, dude.
Matt Pike for president 2028. Let's go. This is also
he's a busy gentleman.
he is a very busy man.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
One of the best shows I had ever seen was High on Fire at High Tone whenever they were still at their old location before they moved.
Oh, wow.
Back in like this had to have been like 2011, 2012.
Dude, that's
this is
nuts,
right
dude.
after I think this was right after it was between Death is This Communion and Snakes for the Divine. It was between those two. And like I was again, this is when High Tone was like still kind of small. Like the distance between me and Matt Pike was the distance between me and that drum set off to the right.
Oh, it's beautiful, man.
He was right there. And that, yeah, High on Fire, Death is This Communion, because it was one of those albums that just grabbed me and shifted me in a direction that I was just like, I want to go in this direction now. I love doom metal now. Okay, bye. And yeah, like it was a great band, and just his guitar tone is second to none.
And they've been around for a while too.
And
be quite honest, it seemed like to me like because I only recognize Matt Pike from like because he was really into like booking a lot of metal hardcore bands and stuff.
Right.
And then when when High on Fire came out, that was kind of early on. I don't.
Have you have heard Sleep though, right? You've heard his other project,
Yes,
Sleep, right?
That's that the one with Chino.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's not Chino. That's another guy. That's another bass player.
No, not Sleep. I've heard Sleep. So
Yeah.
not that one. I've heard something else by Chino. Yes, yeah, I've heard Sleep. Yeah, that's super, just kind of
sludgy
type,
slow. Like
that had that one record with it was like a dude, like an astronaut.
Yes,
or sound cover.
it was. I'm pretty sure The Sciences. I'm pretty sure that's the name of that album, which is a great album. Like. And Matt Pike, one of the things he talked about in this rig rundown that he went through for his rig for Sleep, which is insane. It's just like a wall of orange amps and just all going full blast. It's like when he's not playing, it's just you just hear tubes screaming the whole time is how loud it is.
Yeah, dude.
And like he can just experiment with his tone throughout an entire set and just zone out. And that's what I love about stuff like that, especially sludge metal, because you can just play around with it. You can just go as far as you want to because it's just slow and droning and everything. And you can just sit there and just play with freaking tones all the time.
Much respect, man. Matt Pike. Very busy dude.
For president.
Yeah, man. Yeah, he did a lot of booking. I remember back in the day, I was trying to get shows or whatever. And I can remember Matt Pike's name coming up a lot. Mm-hmm. So that's cool. I like it, number 2.
Okay.
That's good stuff, dude. Okay. Now you got me against the wall. Let's see. Number 2. Oh, man. You did so good. That was really quick. My number 2 pivotal record or band for sure will have to be God Bless. So I think number 5 covers I did Fugazi, then I did Bad Religion, then Undertow. So I think I need to break out God Bless.
You got to go out of left field sometimes.
Well, I think I'm going to say this band because again, I don't know, I'm just stuck because I think we're a kind of you got stuff in the 90s kind of set me in motion. So there is at least one more band I need to mention from that era. That would have been a band called Quicksand, who are still doing music, and their album Slip is like just again just like it's crazy to think like how important. It seems like I have like I think there are important bands I've listened to in the 2000s and 2010s, even the 2020s, but like something about these that came out really meant something. And it seemed like the whole record was like good. Like I didn't have to skip any of them.
Every song was a hit.
Every song was a hit. And again, it's not a super like Undertow's like
Those
really the only.
so few and far between sometimes, man. It's like for me to find a full album that I don't skip a single song. For me, that's really hard for me to find. I don't know how hard it is for you, but for me, it's just like every now and then there'll be a song that just something doesn't sit right in the mix, or there's just something that doesn't sound right. I'm like, I might not like that song now. It might grow on me. So I'm just gonna skip it for now. We might revisit.
Maybe
it
that's I don't. And I think I remember like buying like before I kind of got into like punk and hardcore and everything. I remember like buying records like still like maybe like your basic pop record like or whatever. I didn't think every song was good on it, but maybe hip hop. I thought like I don't know. I'm like I could get into all that. I'm not going to get into all that. But anyway, yeah, definitely listen to Quicksand album Slip. I think it's a 10 out of 10. I don't think it's just there's no skips and. I couldn't imagine finishing this top 5 without mentioning them. So I bounce right back at you, man. Now you got to do number 1, and I don't know how you're going to do it.
I already got him.
No,
I already have it locked in.
Oh my god! Now I got to figure out. Go ahead, dude.
But it's okay. We can talk about this for a minute because it's somebody you know. It's somebody you know.
Okay.
Aesop Rock.
Oh my gosh.
Aesop Rock.
Oh
he
my.
is in a league of his own.
Very league. Yeah.
When it comes to hip hop, man, it's like, and he got people like Atmosphere and a lot of other people that are like him moving, but he stands alone.
He does, dude.
Whenever it comes to like lyrical diversity, like,
dude,
who else, can write a song about? And again, this is just him. This is no particular album or particular song. It's just him.
Oh, bro.
Like, he is pivotal in my opinion.
I'm glad you said that.
And because who else can write a song about adopting a kitten for therapy? The whole song Kirby is about him adopting a kitten, and there's one of the best lines in the whole song is 15 years taking prescriptions, now shrink like, I don't know, maybe get a kitten. No. Come on, dude. Like, who else can write that? Who else can write a song about a kid who refuses to eat their green beans and make it a banger like he does? Nobody. Like, put Lil Wayne, I don't know who he is. Like,
I know.
Aesop Rock is a legend. To me, he is the GOAT. He will stand the test of time as far as hip hop artists are concerned. And he did one television appearance, on the Colbert Show.
I saw it.
He did Dorks, which was a great song to play live.
Absolutely.
It was absolutely amazing. But now there is a song that if I hear it, I will listen to that sucker 5 times in a row, and that's Drums on the Wheel. Have you heard that one?
Drums on the Wheel. Which one's that on?
Honestly, here's the crazy part. It's not on an actual one of his albums. It's on a video game soundtrack called Freedom Finger. Apparently, it came out on the Nintendo Switch.
No way.
Yeah, it's a dope track too, man. It will stick with you because it's basically about, like, I think it's kind of like about the character of the game, essentially, like that, or in a way it's about the character of the game, because it's about an astronaut an astronaut who is losing signal with home base and everything like that, and he is slowly like just drifting out into space or potentially drifting out into a star or something he's just alone, and he's trying to call back to base and no one's getting through. Do you read me? And that's one of the lines in the song is, do you read me? He just keeps repeating that at some points. But it is an amazing, amazing song. And Aesop is like, I'll always be able to listen to him.
He is, dude. Like,
that's
my argument. Like, I just think he's just.
And he hurled me into the world of hip hop. Like, I always had a kind of an appreciation for it, but I never really liked rap that much of the time. And then when I heard him, I was like, oh my, what is this?
Yeah, because like, and especially like it's one of those things where, how do I put it? he kind of like grabs. It's kind of like KRS-One. It kind of grabs like the culture of hip hop all all into one. Like I mean, even stretching it just a little more with us, because skateboarding and hip hop have this intersection, this crossover. That's how a lot of people in the early '90s or whatever kind of found about hip hop, was like listening, like watching skateboard videos. I remember like when I was skating, like that was the big thing. Like I know in the '80s is like there was a lot of, and punk rock was a big deal, but like it kind of got to this place where like people were listening to the early '90s like hip hop, and people were kind of getting pulled into Tribe Called Quest and all that, and De La Soul and stuff. But it's like, but he holds that too, because he holds like he's a punk rock, he's a skater, you know. He knows like all, like he drops all kinds of references like about Fugazi and about Cannibal Corpse. I mean, he drops in skateboarding and all these things. So to me, it's sometimes it's hard when I listen to other rap and hip hop. I go, man, it's really hard to compare, because some of them like I don't like get it and everything. And I kind of have a pretty open mind. I try to branch out, try to listen to other things, and I try to understand like what they're trying to pull off. But Aesop, just I don't know, man.
Right.
It's crazy.
And he's one of those artists that the second I heard him, I was like, I have to have every single one of his albums. I have to listen to every single one so I can hear his evolution. And it was insane because like did you listen to any of his like really, really, really early stuff, like Music for Earthworms or Appleseed or anything like that?
I'm gonna listen to like
when were you introduced to him? Like what song or album was introduced it?
Oh my gosh, dude. I'm trying to remember. It's hard. Like I can't remember. I know he was on Rhyme Series like for he's still doing Rhyme Series, but I'm saying it's I don't know. I can't remember. It's tough because it had to be on like I wonder if he was like maybe on some verse or something.
He did a lot of that. He did a lot of collaborations on verses and everything. He did. He collaborated with Fat Mike. You know, before Run the Jewels were a thing.
Yeah.
You know, long before Run the Jewels even became a thing. And let's see, was it Fat Mike or was it LP?
Here's what I think he might have been with like
LP. It was LP. It was LP because I'm sorry, I totally got those two confused. Even though it's really hard to, because one's black and one is white.
But yeah, he was on with like LP.
Yes,
and
he worked with LP. He worked
Atmosphere
with Atmosphere, and I even think that I saw him in a video doing a rhyme with Immortal Technique and Fat Joe, I think, you know, back when they still lived in New York. And talk about Immortal Technique. Have you heard his stuff?
It's stuff. Yeah. Ooh. So it's like, so he goes
hard.
Because Aesop has been on some Dell tracks, right? I mean, he's been like on like
I want to say he has.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised.
It's just nuts though. Have you heard his stuff with like when he collabs with like with Rob Sonic? The Hail Mary Milan or whatever.
Yeah, I have.
That's my favorite. Dude.
That is amazing.
I'm waiting for a new one so bad. Just the Hail
Mary
Milan stuff.
Like
Rob Sonic is really good if you listen to Rob Sonic.
In fact, like let me see like the last time, because I know you keep up with them, and I'm trying to remember besides Integrated Tech Solutions, I'm trying to figure out what the last thing he put out before that was.
Before that was like
Garbology.
He did Garbology, but he did the Spirit World Guide or something like that.
Spirit World Field Guide.
Yeah,
don't know why that was so hard to say. Here he is. But he did. Actually, the latest EP he was just on is called Welcome Home Warrior, featuring Aesop Rock. And Clipping is the name of the artist that actually did it, and that came out just this year. Like literally, that's the first thing I pulled up. Dude, he is grinding all the time,
and he produces, dude. Like he does all this stuff, which is it's tough.
But I got introduced to Aesop whenever I think it was. I actually have his stuff pulled up right here. I'm pretty sure it would have been around Skeleton is when I got introduced to him, and that's whenever he put out. I believe it was Hold the Cup, if I'm right. No, that was on another album, but I heard a song from Skeleton. No, actually, it wasn't Skeleton. It was None Shall Pass. I'm getting all kinds of stuff confused.
None Shall Pass is wild, yeah.
Yes, it was. And, I heard something from None Shall Pass, and I was like, who is this?
That's nuts, dude.
And then, Daylight, which was 2002. This guy has been around for a minute. And more people need to listen to him. More people need to go listen to Aesop Rock right after that you listen to this podcast. And then he's number one for me as far as like a pivotal artist who just like completely changed my perspective on something.
A smart dude. Incredibly smart dude, man.
What about yours?
Oh my gosh, dude! Man, I did not expect
You're up
that.
against the wall, Gary.
Oh my gosh,
I got you up against the wall.
I can't do better than Aesop. Oh my gosh, dude! Pivotal.
And I still got my honorable mention.
So you still got your honorable mention.
Do you want me to mention my honorable mention to give you some more time?
I'm good. I got this.
Right.
So pivotal bands, the pivotal artists. So I went through Fugazi, went through Bad Religion.
Yep.
I went through Undertow, and I went through Quicksand.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a pivotal band would be. I'm wondering, because I don't think I'm probably going to creep out of the 90s or anything like that whatsoever. So, let me give it just a second, just a thought. I don't know. I may for not being able to
pull one out of left field, bro.
I can't pull it. Like I'm wondering.
Come
on, I'm not gonna
live on the edge.
I'm not gonna pull from my phone. I want to go to my phone, so I'm just gonna kind of go off. I think a band that really kind of changed things for me was like, it's probably 7 years after that. It would be like, for some reason, like this band really grabbed me. I never heard anything like it before, and I listened to it quite a bit, and it kind of got me into writing, especially in guitar, like writing different. I think it did influence my guitar writing on some of the thing and some of the parts I even do to this day.
Mm-hmm.
Even on on God Don't Sleep, and even on the new one that we're doing.
Right.
It's there's an album by the band called Isis called Oceanic, and so that one's like I listened to it. If you got 61 minutes to spare, it's a really good record.
And we thought Dope Throne was a slog. These guys over here with their 61 minutes.
Right. So that's me. So Oceanic is just a really good record from beginning to end. It's one band I never got to go see.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned Tool earlier, and I think the bass player for Isis he would actually like fill in sometimes for Tool, and he played bass on for Tool tours and stuff. But anyway, yeah. Isis, Oceanic, and I probably missed like 100 albums I probably could have mentioned, but that's one that's definitely influenced me. Yeah, for real, dude. You got your honorable mention.
My honorable mention is this one's gonna be out of left field, but it's because of the fact that this guy was, in my opinion, he was the original punk rocker, in my opinion, and this goes back to the 40s. Pete Seeger.
I don't know Pete Seeger.
Oh, dude, you need to look him up. He wrote, did you ever watch the show on Showtime called Weeds? About that housewife that like grew weed and everything like that and sold it. She was very unassuming and everything like that. But no. Well, for those of you who have, there was a song at the very beginning of the show. The theme song was called Little Boxes. It was originally written by Pete Seeger. He also wrote We Shall Overcome, which was a very big song during the Civil Rights Movement.
Oh, dude, okay.
He led the charge to help clean up the Hudson River Valley area, especially the Hudson River itself, because a New York native. He played with Arlo Guthrie, Woody Guthrie. They were writing anti-establishment and workers' rights songs in the 40s.
Nuts, dude.
Like they were writing essentially what is punk rock music before punk was even a thing.
That's pretty awesome.
That, to me, and one of the most beautiful pictures I've ever seen ever is of Pete Seeger holding his banjo. And, like, I keep trying to remember the exact phrasing because I don't want to do it an injustice and get it wrong. So I have to Google it every single time just to make sure I get it right. And this earbud keeps falling out.
Was it the dude who put on he wrote on his was it the dude who wrote on his guitar that like was like this guitar kills fascists or something?
Yes, that's it. And I'm trying to find the actual.
I thought
the actual picture of
that's slay. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, here it is. It's this machine surrounds hate and forces it to surrender.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, that's it right there.
Oh, no way. That's fantastic. That's cool, dude. dude.
That
how
that
punk
is a
rock
message. That is a freaking message, right? That is punk right there.
That dude, that's crazy. And a
And
banjo,
so, yeah.
on a banjo.
On a banjo of all things. Like, so yeah, if anybody, like, go check out Pete Seeger. He is amazing. Like, even if you're not into like folk music, just the appreciation. I did a full essay on this guy whenever I took the history of civil rights.
What's his name
back
again?
in college. Pete Seeger.
Pete Seeger.
Seeger.
Bro, that's awesome, dude.
But yeah, he's my honorable mention because like he was one of those that I listened to. And I was like, oh man, it's like this changes things. This changes things a little bit.
Yo,
and
that's awesome. That's out of left field. Talking about out of left field, man.
Icon of a musician and icon of a man. Rest in peace, Pete.
Dude,
but yeah, man,
fantastic,
those are my top 5. And like you said, there are so many others that I could have picked from, but like those are just the ones that come.
They come to mind and everything, and for one reason or another. I mean, I remember like riding around, like delivering pizzas, and just like listening to like this ISIS, you know. And I think what's so cool. I mean, I don't know about you, but how before internet, how some of us kind of really did find bands, because I found all those bands before internet. Usually it was like through liner notes of like CDs or records, like, you know.
That was the crazy part, was usually finding them through the liner. But then again, it's like I started discovering music at the age when the internet was actually like really launching, like Napster and everything like that. You know, that's when and LimeWire, if you really wanted to give your computer AIDS. It's like, you want to find a way to brick a computer, just install LimeWire and wait.
That was the way. Oh
but
my
no,
gosh,
and that was the other thing, is that like all those services came out just so rapid fire, because you had Napster, you had Kazaa, you had Kazaa Lite, Kazaa Lite K++, LimeWire.
Bro, dude.
Now you have the Pirate Bay, which might be making a resurgence if these subscription companies keep ramping stuff up. It's like, can I just go on a mini rant for just a second?
And go.
Okay. The fact that we have to pay a subscription service a fee to not have ads, when the whole point of us getting that subscription service was to get around ads, is absolutely mind-numbingly infuriating. Like, no, I'm not going to pay $20 a month for me to not see ads when it was free 10 years ago. No, I will go back to pirating stuff, and nobody gets my money. I will straight go back to pirating. The only people I want to give my money to are my favorite bands at this point. Like, you guys, Slewfoot, my favorite bands. Those are the only people who I want to give my money to at this point.
I told the dudes, because I'm trying to get this this hardcore project. We're trying to get this boom bap project going with Evan and
Hell yes.
Angel and Jordan. And I go, guys, here's the deal. I said, we're not putting out anything on Spotify, so we're just gonna put everything on a cassette tape and sell them at shows. And I'm not kidding. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to, if you want a copy, you're gonna have to get a, you know what I'm saying? But have like at least like a code where you can go listen to it on. But have like a physical copy with like artwork and liner notes, something you can hold. Yeah. So
something tactile, something tangible.
Yeah.
Like if I didn't have to have Facebook for my job right now, doing social media and digital marketing.
Right on.
If I didn't have to have a Facebook page, I wouldn't have one at all. I wouldn't have social media at all.
Stephanie says that all the time. Yeah.
Like, if it was not almost absolutely necessary for you to actually get your art out there, I would be totally fine with doing what you're just like having just a card with a QR code that goes to one website where you can see all of my art in its highest resolution, and buy prints if you want to, and everything. I am so done with social media that I'm totally cool with just going back to the way things were.
Oh, I mean, dude, I think too. I remember thinking a lot about that, because I think there's a lot of missing. Okay, people can say what they want to say, but this is kind of how I feel. I think a lot of things are missing out of our lives because of the reliance of social media and digital things, like to actually have physical copies of things, actually go to, like, hold a tape, hold a CD, hold a record, hold a zine, all right, because you hold those things, because those are the things that are revisited, you know. Then there are things I actually had to I think just having too much accessibility to everything
Yes.
is just, it's not a good thing.
And oversaturation. in a lot of ways.
Oversaturation. You're not really cherishing
Yes.
anything, like cherishing a record or cherishing a zine. I mean, I held on to,
Absolutely.
when I was down here, like I said, I was homesick when I moved away from Syracuse, and I held on to zines that I'd bought from New York and held them in my hand here in Arkansas, or held onto a VHS tape or flyers on my wall that kept me like, like, this is what I love. This is where I came from. This, you hold those things, right? Cherish those things.
You need to get Justin Richardson on here from Sleuthfoot. You need to get him on here because he actually has the idea of trying to come up with a local music scene publication that is actually like some kind of newspaper or zine.
I've talked to him about that. And I think that's a fantastic idea. But I mean, I'd say go for it, do it. But we also need something else that's just like, this something that's like, it's like, I don't know, it's like 15, 20, 25 pages, just like interviews. And I don't know if this is what he's envisioning, but like just photos and just like advertisement for where you can buy somebody's like whatever, their tape or CD. Yes, I want to kind of go back to that time because I feel like it's a more like awaiting something in the mail,
right?
Like that you order or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I think it's great. You can hold like these interviews in your hand because like you can go read an interview like right now online of your favorite band,
right?
But you're not going to see like like 10 years from now when you're going through your closet, you're not going to run into that digital interview. You're going to run into.
Article's probably going to be deleted at some point.
It's going to be deleted. So it's those things that we kind of like when we go through our closet, we run into photographs and pictures and interviews and stickers and tapes or whatever. Those are the things that kind of bring back all these like this amazing memories and everything.
Like here's the crazy part is that like digital medium now. Like we were talking I had at one point, I know that I had like a few hard drives that were like a few hundred gigs of like just footage from live shows. Hard drives have a shelf life. They're at some point, hard drives will stop working. So unless you have a way to constantly like move that data from another source to another storage source, it's eventually just going to disappear.
Be gone.
It'll just be gone because that hard drive doesn't work anymore.
Right.
So like that's why I would love to like I really want to start getting into printing a lot of my work so that I can act like people, especially you guys, if there's like a particular shot from one of your shows that you're just like, dude, that is like that, perfectly encapsulated that show and that energy. It's like we would love to have that blown up on our wall or something
absolutely,
like that.
Absolutely.
I would love to do something like that. And start a photo book of like live shows around here or something, man. I want to get back into actual tactile, tangible forms of art because
I agree. I mean, I think
they're coming back.
They're coming back. I think the Catalyst is talking about doing a CD, and it had just having having a picture like in the insert that says, "Here are the lyrics, and here's a picture of the band." Isn't it great?
It would be.
I think we should bring it back. I know it costs money and everything, but still,
man, like it can be done.
It can be done.
It can be done, and it should be done.
Look at us. Look what we're doing. We're gonna make things happen. We're gonna make things happen, yes. Nathan.
Let's do it. Let's start a fire,
dude.
Not literally.
No, let's not.
Let's not commit art. I do not condone arson. Let's make that clear.
Disclaimers. Yeah, this show does not support arson. Anyway, well, bro, I'm telling you, I enjoyed this. This was good.
It was a blast, man. I had an absolute joy being out here, dude. It was great, like visiting you, meeting the kids,
trek the
snow. It's a brisk 11 degrees outside, I think. Yeah, but it was awesome coming out here, man. I really appreciate you having me on here, dude.
Yeah, man.
It is so awesome.
I'm glad you got to do it.
I've been smiling this whole time.
Thanks for being patient. Oh man, same here, dude. I like it. This is something I think we need to do. And I still would say more often, but we're kind of do what we can
live
do with the time.
Live pop-up podcasts, man. Let's do live pop-up podcasts at the show, bro.
Hello.
At the show.
Yeah. Steph and I were talking about that. It's like we should just kind of like.
I mean, this little setup right here is perfectly portable for it, man. Yeah, it kind of
could just like let's take it with us.
Yeah.
I just really need this as the kind of power it,
Right.
So. Everything we can do that.
You should do it sometime.
Maybe we'll do it on the 8th. We'll see. Well, maybe we'll do it on the 8th.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Oh, and if this comes out before the 8th, like I don't know what your time. Okay, for those of you listening, come out to that show on the 8th, because we're going to be putting some more footage for y'all's video for God Don't Sleep.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
And I really want to get some high energy stuff, and I still need to get some shots of some ladies looking stoic and hard as
Yes.
I'm trying not to cuss on your show, man. Trying to look stoic and hard, and just like, because we want to send a message with this video, we want to send a message with this song.
Yeah.
So come out, show some energy, show some love. Let's make an amazing video out of this show.
I think it's going to be wonderful.
So
Thank you for doing that. I appreciate you doing that.
Anytime,
March 8th.
man.
Yeah, it's going to be
Anytime.
great. God Don't Sleep video. Yeah, be there.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, listen, like I tell everybody, I come to this point in my psyche where I've had enough, and I'm just going to tell you, Nate, I'd love to hang out here and talk to you all day, but I'm not going to. I got other things I got to do.
I'm a busy man.
I love you, dude.
I love you too, homie.
Thank you for doing this.
Absolutely.
Okay, you take care.
You too, brother.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hurt your feelings. You don't want to work with me anymore. Okay.